So, hi everybody. Today we are going to talk about translation of prose and fiction. I'm Alshar Hamilov, and it's nice meeting you here. Okay. The first of all, let me briefly introduce you to the topic. The peculiarity of translating prose. What it contains of. So, first of all, it contains not just a plain text. So it can be very colorful. It can be it can contain of various stylistic devices such as pun, expressive means, onomatopoeia, and etc. I can give you lots of details, but not to get you bored with this lecture. I just want to give you very briefly the most important parts of the lecture. So, what's pun? Pun is the game of words. When one word might mean two or three or more than meanings in one language. For example, tank. It can be water tank, the fuel tank, and tank as a military vehicle, right? Onomatopoeia. What's onomatopoeia? It's the voices written in letters. For example, the cows go like moo, or the cats go like mew, and etc. These are onomatopoeic words. And besides that, the prose can contain vulgar words, dialectical words, and others in order to show the person's social origin, and to show the where he belongs to, and one of the vulgar words can be go to hell, right? And the dialectical words in Uzbek, in Russian, you know them very well. For example, in Uzbekistan we have so many dialects: Tashkent, Fergana Valley, Bukhara, and others, right? Kharazm dialect. The uh, translation of prose can also contain archaisms and neologisms like kadi, ichkari, and we will talk about ichkari a little bit later when I'll be giving you examples from the book Days Gone by Abdulla Qodiriy. Poetic words, the words like steed, woo, or some others which you can see on your screens right now. And also, it can contain the neutral, colloquial, and literary words. I'm sorry, there's a typo. It should be words, but not words. Words, and example like in neutral, a child. In colloquial, it can be kid, and in literally, it can be infant, right? And the other examples as well. Please, if you want to get more information, refer to Stylistics by Galperin. It gives very detailed information on various stylistic devices used in translation, especially in translation. And now let's talk about the books and translations of the book kunlar, days gone by, or bygone days, as our dear translator Margaret said. So on your screen right now you can see three versions of translation. The first one is the translation done by my colleagues and me. The second one here, as you can see, it was translated from Russian by Islam Karimov Foundation. And the third one here, this one was translated by Mark Rees. So they came out in different years, and our version was translated from Uzbek directly. So was Mark Rees's version of translate bygone days, and Islam Karimov Foundation used the Russian translation. version into in order to carry out their translations. And here you can see the difference in writing the names of the author. See, in Uzbek and in Islam Karim's Foundation, and in our version, we rewrote like Abdulla Qodiriy, but Marquis added age and Qadri. We agreed about Q, but and even Marquis and my colleagues agreed with O, but Islam Karim's Foundation version preferred the A after Q. So these are very basic differences, and the name itself, the days gone by and bygone days. When I asked, I met Marquis a couple of times, and I asked him why he used this version of translation like bygone days, and he said that it's better to use preposition at the beginning, and it would be more appropriate rather than to have it at the end. But in our versions and in Islam Karim's version, Islam Karim Foundation versions, the preposition is used at the end. This depends on the translator as well. So next, we can see here the Russian translation and the original book in Uzbek. And let's have some look at the examples here from the translation of Days Gone by Abdulla Qodiriy. For example, on page 28 of original Uzbek, you can see this phrase like yangi qoplangan korpalar. You see korpalar. But in Russian version, on page 33, you can see that novoye kurpachi. And the translator gave a footnote here, like Stegane Adialo. So, Norway Kurpachi. And we also tried to preserve the shape of the word, like kurpa means like a big one, where it's like a blanket, right? And kurpacha is the small one, which you sit on. That's why we thought that kurpacha would be a more bad idea, and we tried to preserve it, and we said like newly made. We even tried to preserve like the word koplangan in original one, but in Russian they just said no way kurpacha, and it would be no problem if we also said new kurpacha. It wouldn't be a problem. And in our case, you can see we used singular form like korpacha, or not even korpachas. But in Russian and in Uzbek versions, the plurality is preserved. And the next one is ichkari, which I've already mentioned a little bit earlier. Ichkari is a kind of archaic word nowadays because we don't use it as it was used before. Yes, this word exists in Uzbek, but it doesn't mean what it means in days gone by. So ichkari means the inner part of the house where females of a certain family entered and stayed there, and the from the Islamic point of view, mahram and non-mahram, and non-mahram people couldn't enter that part of the house. And that's why no one tried to translate this into English, like we preserved. In Russian it was preserved, and in all versions of translation it was preserved, like ichkari, no matter which language it was, and no matter who translated it into English or into Russian. And you can see the footnotes here. I gave them, like in the version of Islam Karim's Foundation, they say inner female part of the house, strictly off limits to strangers. And in our translation, we gave it like internal part of the house. Only we didn't give it. We didn't give more details of the word, and actually we wanted we translated them for students, and we wanted our students to make some research, honestly. And I gave the pages. You can go ahead and look through, and if you have any other ideas, you are more than welcome to share it with me later. So then we also, I would like to give another example from Sister Carrie by Theodore Dreiser. So it was first translated into Russian. It is the original one, and then it was translated into Russian. And then our translator, if I'm not mistaken, Erkin Nasirov translated it from Russian into Uzbek. And you can see the difference in the name. In English, they say Sister Carrie. In Russian, they try to preserve the name Sistra Carrie. But in English, in Uzbek version, the translator preferred the Bakhti Karo Carrie. And this sister actually was very challenging for this translator, and I do not want to diminish or criticize him, because I know how it's difficult and challenging task to translate, and you know there are no perfect translations in the world. So, but the word sister gave hard times for the Uzbek translator, and one of them you can see in the next slide here. For example, translated for I've already told you, like into Uzbek by Nasser Erkin Nasirov, and the first one, Carolyn, or Sister Carrie, as she had been half affectionately termed by the family, was translated into Russian, like Karolina Мибер, или сестра Керри, как ее звали дома, родилась в рабочей семье. And into Uzbek, Erkin Nasirov translated it, Karolina Miberning Miberni oilada erkalatib Jajji Kerri deb atashar edi. So in Russian, it was the translator was able to preserve the word sistra, but in Uzbek, he gave the word judge. I think it's kind of related to the title itself. He didn't say Kerry Opa or Kerry single, and that's why he already couldn't use in the translation the word opa or sister, and that's why he tried to use judge in this case. You see, and these are very simple parts of the translation I tried to show you, and I also would like to give you useful resources here, like Translation Studies Reader by edited by Lawrence Vinuti, third edition. Please, if you want to get more information about translation theories, it's a very good resource for you. And Stylistics by Galperin, and also please search one internet sources as well. It will be very useful. And at the end of the my presentation, I would like to say that translation doesn't contain only just giving the correct title. It doesn't contain only just providing the correct terminology. No, translation of novels, translation of fiction is very difficult. And if especially if you are translating it from foreign language, if you're into your native, you need someone like an advisor from native speaker, and that in that case you will be able to get into the text. You should ask the you should ask uh, uh, for the details, not just look in the dictionary and give the meaning. You should be aware of the culture. And I've already gave you a link to my interview about the culture, and please have a look at that on my channel, and you will find out many things about culture and how it is important in translation process. And more information I will give you in my future presentations. This was very brief introduction for you and others. I will send you on as a lecture notes. Please read them, and hope to see you next time, and hope to see you during our discussions. See you guys.